Hello, everybody. This is Sarahscopic with Eskalia playing Asphyxia. And we are deciding whether to berate or agree with Lillian. I have no idea.
I don't know.
Like, the problem is that, like, berate, like, is it kind of jokingly, or is she gonna be like, ugh, Lillian, you terrible person?
Yeah, you monster. How could you?
Because I could see how
knock DeQuincy over.
I could see how Lillian would prefer that, only because then she's speaking her own mind.
Yeah, she's not putting her on a pedestal so much.
Yeah, but we also want to be. I don't know. What do you?
But we're also trying to get in Lillian's pants.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you want to do?
Well, last time we tried to like really put her on a pedestal and it backfired on us. Maybe this time we should berate her.
All right, we're gonna berate Lillian. Silly Lily. Whoa.
Oh. That's not berating her. That's like, I don't know, getting ready to. Never mind. Keep going. Samantha chided her gently. Oh, yeah.
Samantha chided her gently, a small smile on her face. That's what I figured it was gonna be. If accidents didn't count as crimes, then manslaughter wouldn't be illegal. But Lillian dismissed her light scolding with a disdainful frown, a flip of her hair.
Don't be so melodramatic. I didn't kill her. There's hardly a scratch on her. She's incredibly durable.
Well, I'll be the first to attest to that. Lillian hadn't seen how much DeQuincy could drink before she threw it all back up like Samantha had.
And after DeQuincy had the most unfortunate fall and tragically twisted her poor ankle, I offered to find a teacher and inform them of the accident, like the good Samaritan I am.
Jeez. You mean you ran away?
Please don't make me sound so irresponsible. I was not running away. I do not run away from my problems.
I never realized you were so shameless, Lillian. I thought you were a stickler for school rules, being the head of the student council and all.
I am, but some rules must be bent to preserve the peace. That is how a democracy works.
Oh, jeez. How corrupt. It's no wonder George was so disillusioned with you. I thought you said you were going to help us poor students when you became the head of the student council, not oppress us with brute force.
Georgia is disillusioned about everything. She is even disillusioned about being disillusioned. I have no desire to cater to fools who wish to cause trouble for the sake of it. You do not know the power of the dark side.
No! Did she really try to sneak a bear into her dorm?
Sorry.
It
took me a moment to try to get back to my voice.
She tried to argue on behalf of it, and so passionately too. I was almost moved to tears.
And yet you say it with such a straight face.
I was being sarcastic.
Samantha reeled in faux surprise, her eyes wide. You? Sarcastic? But isn't sarcasm the lowest form of wit?
Some situations are so ridiculous they deserve nothing more than sarcasm.
You're becoming awfully conservative in your old age.
Don't be so facetious. I'm only a couple of months older than you.
Ow! Samantha winced, pressing a hand against her forehead. Why is she crying? Did Lillian really have to flick her? Those in power always punched downwards, didn't they? Or in this case, flicked. Lillian's fingernails were carefully groomed and filed to perfection, unlike Samantha's, which were little more than bitten stumps. Being flicked by Lillian's far superior fingernails, even an act of playful jest, was quite painful. And yet even so, Samantha couldn't help but smile.
I'll bet she can't.
She could hardly believe it. She was actually talking to Lillian. They were having a conversation, and they were getting along with each other.
Oh, good.
This only served to confirm things in Samantha's heart. Being by Lillian's side really was where she belonged. Oh, no!
Honey,
no! Without Lillian, Samantha couldn't smile, couldn't laugh, could hardly even speak. Oh, good lord. For the last 3 months, Samantha had felt like the mermaid from that fairy tale. She'd been unable to talk, and when she did, nothing had sounded quite right. Her own voice had grown softer and softer by the day, until she hardly even recognized it as hers anymore. Now that she was with Lillian, however, conversation came to her so easily. She felt more assured of her words, as though they truly did belong to her, and she meant every single thing she said. She had found her voice again. Being with Lillian gave her purpose. It made her happy.
Now, it is true, as they're starting to talk again, she actually does speak well.
Yes. Oh, no, I can, like, she's, like, witty, she's, I can start to see her true character poke through.
Right.
It's just, honey.
Yeah. That said, ooh.
Samantha blinked. Her eyes felt wet. Was she crying again? Lillian frowned, leaning in just a little closer to her once dearest friend.
Sam, what is it?
Samantha sniffed, wiping her eyes with the back of her arm. She cried so much today she was beginning to feel like a prune. Distinctly desiccated? Desiccated, you're right. Desiccated, all dried out. Her throat was sore, too. Inwardly, Samantha cursed herself. She had only just managed to reconnect with Lillian and she was already spoiling it. She just couldn't let herself enjoy the moment, could she? Like a Puritan. She always had to throw the things that made her happy away. Oh, jeez.
Wow.
Okay. She was making herself look weak, stupid, pathetic, and she couldn't stop herself because that's what she really was. She was weak. She was stupid. She was pathetic.
Oh my god.
And she couldn't stop crying. I'm sorry, Lillian. I feel a little overwhelmed, that's all.
Overwhelmed? Why? Was our talk about my corrupt conservative policies really that depressing?
No, that isn't it.
Then what?
I don't know. I can't really explain it.
You can always try.
But... A sigh.
We have been through this before many times, Samantha. How can I ever hope to understand how you feel if you never explain it to me? Although De Quincey seems to revere me as some kind of goddess, I cannot read minds, and I won't be able to help you unless you enlighten me.
Oh, jeez. Oh, boy. But I thought it was because I kept trying to enlighten you, as you put it, that you... Lillian raised an eyebrow.
That I what?
You... Samantha bit down on her lower lip. Her shoulders trembled. She did not want to talk about last Christmas. Merely thinking about it was painful. Why had their conversation become so serious? Samantha did not cope well with serious things. She far preferred frivolity, mainly because she herself really had cause to feel happy. What was she going to say?
Confide in Lillian.
I mean, that's what we're definitely gonna do. I'm just gonna save it. Yeah, no, I override
Not bottling up this stuff anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Talk to her. She knew the following words were going to be painful, but how could she continue to sit there conversing with Lillian without bringing the subject to light? It was inevitable that it would come to the surface eventually, for Samantha had thought of it almost incessantly ever since Christmas. She had been incapable of thinking about anything else. I thought it was because I kept bothering you with my troubles that you stopped wanting to talk to me. Samantha sniffed, her whole body racked with sobs. Tears, which had once been born from relief and happiness, had turned bitter. Lillian watched her impassively, unsure of what to say, what to do, and Lillian did not like being unsure of herself. Should she pat Samantha on the shoulders? But such a friendly, casual gesture, after 3 months of complete silence between the pair, would feel too sudden, too unexpected, and too awkward. Which is interesting, because it's letting us know it's not that she doesn't want to, she just doesn't want to make... So yeah, this...
Right.
Words, then. She would settle for words. Lillian has always been good with those. Wordsworth.
Yeah.
I did not stop talking to you because you were depressed.
A pause.
Not entirely, anyway.
What? So that isn't the reason, then what is?
I can respond if you like, but I doubt my answer will satisfy you.
It's alright. I know I can be quite a difficult person, and very little has satisfied me lately. I have no expectations that this will.
Well, I stopped talking to you because it was upsetting me.
I upset you?
This whole ordeal was very upsetting in general, especially given it happened over Christmas. I tried many times to ask you why you were so sad, but even though you gave me answers, they were not answers I could understand. You said that you felt lonely, even though I continued to be by your side, and what more could I have done than that?
Oh, man, this is so real. So,
Yeah.
I mean, she did exactly what Roberta is accusing her of.
Mm-hmm.
She even did it to her greatest friend, Lillian.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed no matter how I tried to console you, I could make no difference. I couldn't help. It all began to feel like an exercise in futility, and every time I saw you, it only made me feel worse.
That isn't true, you know?
What isn't?
That you didn't make a difference. Even though you may not have realized it, God knows I was in a bad state back then, and I was in no fit mind to tell you this myself. Being with you really did help. Having you by my side, it made me feel like I was wanted, needed, that my existence had some kind of meaning.
Your existence has meaning whether I'm with you or not. You shouldn't base your own self-worth around my opinion. That isn't healthy.
I know. Don't you think I don't know that? I'm well aware. I'm not stupid, Lillian. In fact, I am a person with reasonable intellectual capabilities, which makes me feel even more dejected when I consider just how little I have done with them. I know all the sensible advice you could possibly give me already. Make sure to eat 3 meals a day, go to bed before 6 in the morning, don't drink too much, it's bad for you. I know all that, I know!
Then why don't you follow these helpful life lessons?
Oh, gosh. Well, Samantha flinched. I have been trying. With the last point, at least, I do my best.
And just how much is your best?
I haven't had anything alcoholic in the last 2 months, at least. Although the self-imposed prohibition was not entirely because of Samantha's own strength of will, but because she'd felt too uneasy to ask De Quincy for any favors lately. Lillian did not need to know that, though.
2 months,
Lillian frowned, considering.
I suppose that is fairly stringent for you. I'm surprised.
It's kind of sad that you expect so little from me. Samantha's hands fisted at the hem of her skirt, tugging the material taut between her fingers. I'm sorry. I don't want to be a disappointment, Lily. I really have missed you. Not being able to talk to you, spend time with you. It's been hard on me. Really hard. When I saw you again and we started to talk, just talking like this, not about anything in particular. I can't tell you how happy it makes me, even though you might not think it to look at me.
There are things in this world not even you can pin down with words. How shocking.
I'll take that as a compliment. But I am happy, happier than I have been. Well, I don't know, for a long while. I can hardly understand it myself. I haven't said anything, because I don't know what to say. Jeez!
Yeah.
This is this is stuff that happens. This is not... This did not come out of a vacuum.
No, this is a game that is people who have dealt with people who are depressed.
Yes.
Yes, whether they were depressed themselves or have known someone who was.
Has. Yeah. Yes, it's... Oh, jeez, it hits very hard. Okay. Samantha smiled wanly, her face soaked with tears as she shook her head. Yeah, they have a lot of crying sprites in this game.
Yeah, they sure do.
Well, I hardly understand any of my emotions, but that's beside the point. I don't know if I ever will be able to understand myself, no matter how much soul-searching I do. I was just so happy to see you again, to talk to you. It was overwhelming and slightly scary. It still is. I don't know what came over me, but I couldn't keep it in any longer, and I started to cry.
You were crying because you were happy?
It happens. I suppose so, because I missed you so much.
But it is as you said, you don't sound happy. Not to me. If anything, you sound miserable.
So Lillian seems to be the kind of person that really, she's trying to be empathetic, but she doesn't get it.
Yeah.
She really is so far removed from, depression that she's like, you have to tell me what's going on, kind of thing. And there's nothing against Lillian, she just doesn't get it.
Yeah.
And she's trying, but of course in her mindset, well, why aren't you following this things of advice? Well, she can't, basically. Oh. I'm experiencing a strange mixture of emotions. It's hard to describe them.
It's hard for me to follow them, too.
Lillian seems like the extremely logical type.
Yes, very much so.
I'm sorry, Lillian. I know I must be a pain.
One of the biggest I know.
Lillian frowned, brushing a strand of blonde hair behind her ear.
Look, I'm sorry, Sam. This isn't because I don't like you, but...
Samantha did not like the sound of that but. Neither did she care for the ominous pause. Oh. She stared at Lillian, her eyes wide, her eyelashes trembling. Music changed!
Oh.
What would she do if Lillian rejected her again? The two had only just begun to reconnect after 3 months of complete silence, and to what end? Was it all going to end here? No, it couldn't. She wouldn't let it. She would drag the mutilated, malformed remains of their relationship out from underneath the rubble that accumulated over the past 3 months, even if it killed her. She had to. Oh, jeez! That's...
Yikes!
Yikes! Oh! Oh. Lily, please. Samantha heard her voice crack like a teenage boy going through puberty. She sounded pathetic even to her own ears, but when didn't she? Who cared if she had to beg? She had no self-esteem left to throw away. It would not make a shred of difference to her. Lily, please reconsider. I missed you so much. Don't leave me alone again. I don't think I could stand it.
Oh my god. Oh my god! First of all, and like we talked about emotional abuse earlier.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Samantha, but this is exactly why I stopped talking to you the last time.
What do you mean?
Oh.
Say it.
Alright, yep.
You're too clingy. You value me far too highly, and though it is somewhat flattering, I don't think it's good for you.
Yep, that's what we figured.
Yep.
Okay.
You shouldn't obsess over me so much. It makes me uncomfortable, and it makes you unhappy.
You're wrong. I'm the happiest it is possible for me to be when I'm with you. I feel miserable when I'm on my own. Utterly miserable. These last 3 months, Yeah, speaking of emotional abuse, sorry guys, I know some people do go through this stuff, but saying things like, I need you to this extent is not healthy.
Right, I'm only happy when I'm with you. That is so unfair to the person you're talking to. Like, what the hell are they supposed to do with that?
Right, like, they don't want to hurt you, so...
Right.
If I weren't such a coward, I doubt I'd be sitting here right now.
I was afraid of that. Is that why you cut all your beautiful hair? Because you felt depressed?
That's right. Samantha hung her head, her face flushing. She had told nobody the truth behind her drastic change, but Lillian had guessed it all the same. Lillian knew her far too well. She could read her like a book, perusing through the pages of her heart whenever it suited her. If only Samantha could do the same with Lillian. Even after all the years they had been friends, Samantha still did not understand Lillian at all. I thought about cutting somewhere else. But I just didn't have the heart. I couldn't do it. I'm too much of a failure to even kill myself properly. Oh, jeez!
Don't be so ridiculous, Sam.
Yeah, is that what you say to that? I can't help it. I was born ridiculous and I can't do anything about it. Lillian sighed. Her expression was still soft, but her tone when next she spoke was stern, like that of a schoolteacher reprimanding an unruly student. She sounded even more authoritarian than Miss Pope did, which was saying something. This was probably why Lillian had been elected as head of the student council. It really was impossible to argue with her.
Please don't be so defeatist. There's always something you can do.
Lily? That's true. Being with you has always made me happier, but...
That isn't going to cut it. This isn't a permanent solution, and you know it. I am not always going to be here for you. We are going to graduate next year, and we may never see each other again. What will you do then?
I was trying not to think about that.
And that is precisely your problem. You never think in the long term. Look, I don't think our friendship is working out. You're far too desperate, and I can't give you what you want. You don't need me, no matter how much you tell yourself you do. What you need is to see a therapist, and you could stand to have a healthier sleeping cycle, too.
Well, at least somebody said it.
Amen.
Jeez, amen! Amen, Lillian!
That's why Lillian gets the serious voice now.
Yeah,
she's earned it.
She's earned it at this point. No, 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 no! This was not how it was supposed to go. This wasn't what she wanted. The main reason Samantha had even gone on this field trip, even though she had been feeling so crushingly miserable lately, it had been an effort to simply drag herself out of bed. It was so she could see Lillian. She had hoped dimly in the back of her mind that all was not lost, that they could still fix things. That she could drag the corpse of her relationship with Lillian up out of the wreckage that had been buried under, suffocating slowly these last 3 months. Maybe she had been right. Now, however, Samantha saw quite clearly that it was far too late. She might have had a chance once, but like the fool she was, she had ruined it. She always ruined things. How had she even managed to survive in this world for so long when she threw away each and everything that meant something to her, that she loved and cared about, away to the wind like confetti? Lily, do you really no longer want to be my friend?
It isn't that I don't want to. I can't.
Can't?
No, dealing with you is too exhausting, and that's not the right word.
That's not the right.
Dealing with you is too exhausting, and it upsets me, and it's infuriating that you don't even try to get better.
Oh, jeez. So that's the interesting thing between Lillian and Roberta. So Roberta's the motherly one that she actually is highly empathetic, and maybe I'm projecting a little bit, she's stretched herself way too thin at this point.
Right.
Lillian was the one, the no-nonsense person, and they were very close. But for her, like, she's good at spotting her, but we said she's the logical type. She can only do so much, and when she's, while Roberta is willing to drag herself until she snaps, Lillian can cut herself off.
Yeah, and that's where, like, that logical thing is setting in where it's infuriating that you don't even try to get better. She's like, I can see the steps you need to be taking, and you refuse to take them. It's
exactly.
infuriating.
I do try. I have been trying, but it's hard. You just don't understand, Lillian. Samantha could feel the tears. They'd been threatening to fall for a while now, but she tried to hold them back. You don't know how sick I am. I felt awful for a long, long time. Longer than I can ever remember. And I don't know what to do anymore. Samantha's words began to break up in her mouth. They no longer felt like they meant anything. Rather than signifying concepts, things Samantha could understand, they were just noise. Empty noise. Words were not enough. Not now. No matter what she said, it would not make any difference. The expression on Lillian's face, a mixture of sympathy, sorrow, and, worst of all, poorly concealed irritation, confirmed it. Lillian was no longer looking at her as an equal, a genuine friend. Instead, she was just a poor soul with a medical condition. Someone to be pitied, yes, but not respected. Certainly not loved. And the horrible irony of that is she doesn't see you as an equal because you have purposely pushed her above yourself.
Right.
Oh! Lillian Wordsmith had never been able to truly love beings she deemed to be inferior to herself.
That is precisely why, Sam, I understand you well enough, but I can never know how sick you are. We're just too dissimilar. I think our friendship was a bad idea. I am not good for you, and you are not good for me. All we do is hurt each other. It would be sensible to bring things to an end before it goes any further. I am not too prideful to admit when I am out of my depth. I can't deal with you anymore.
Oh, Lily, Samantha tried to stem her tears, but it was too late. They began to stream down her cheeks before she knew what was happening, like April rain. Within seconds, she was crying so hard her body started to convulse. Her shoulders shook, her very bones seemed to shake. She could hardly breathe, she could hardly talk. All she could do was cry until she felt her whole body would fall apart and everything stuffed inside her that made her would leak out of the seams. If that was the case, then so be it. Let it happen. Samantha was sick of herself, almost as much as Lillian now was. Okay.
Well, it got a little better for one episode, and now...
No. We're gonna stop here, though, folks. Okay! That was... Once again, too real.
That was rough.
Okay, well, hope you guys are at least enjoying this, or at least finding, I don't know, something in this.
Some joy in this.
If not joy, just something, maybe.
Yeah.
Peace, joy, love, and koi, everybody. Mwah.